everybody, and welcome back to an episode of Midnight Metanoia. This is a very, very interesting case, and I always say this, but this really is an interesting case because this involves many, many people, but there's one person in particular that kind of stood out to me because this man actually had connections with other people. So I'm going to call this episode the Bennington Triangle. But we're going to focus on James Tedford. Excuse me. So let's jump right on in. James Tedford, often referred to as Tedford, was born in 1884 in Vermont. Not much is known about his early life, but by 1940 he was a resident in Fletchertown, Franklin, Vermont, with his younger wife, Pearl. She was 28 and he was 56. Very, very interesting. Things started to get strange following Tedford's return to Vermont at the end of his second spell of military service at the end of World War II. He returned to find his wife Pearl had vanished. No Tedford could be found. The property they rented in Fletchertown has been left abandoned. Tedford family claimed no knowledge of the whereabouts of his missing wife. They said they had last seen her as she was headed to the Armaco store in Franklin, but they never saw her again. So I want to jump right into that really quickly because now the missing case of the wife, that is something definitely mysterious. And I want to see what, because, oh God, I'm getting chills thinking about it. So, I got chills right now. So this is some very, very dark stuff. There is a queen here. This is a fire sign woman. I'm not sure what sign his woman is, because of course they're not going into Pearl's birthday. But there is a fire sign woman here, and there's a younger air sign man who actually looks like her. And that's what's creepy. I don't feel like they're blood related, but he actually looks like her. Okay? Going into the card that's in to them is the Five of Spades. And this is talking about, a happy home, but interference from other people. Okay? So, somehow, some way, and I'm just surprised nobody has even looked into this, but Mary was kidnapped. Mary was taken. She was abducted. She was kidnapped. And the crazy thing about it is that the family of her husband, James Tedford, didn't even bother looking for her. Like, I know this is 1940s. I know that. But it's like, nobody wanted to look for her. Well, I've never seen her. Last time we saw her, she was heading to Franklin, but we never saw her again. So it's just like, that's very interesting to get on. But she was definitely abducted by a Caucasian male. Like I said, looks like he's around the same age as her, very young, 32, 20, 32. He has very, very beady eyes. If I had to go into, oh my God, just very, very creepy. Very, very creepy vibes going into this, man. Like I said, I got chills. I'm very uncomfortable. But just, very, very creepy. So, like I said, I'm just a little weirded out that she vanished, and the family just kind of told him, like, yeah, she vanished, and she went to the store, and we just haven't seen her. Like, no one actually dug into this, and like I said, maybe that's another thing we can dig up on another episode. But I just kind of wanted to tap into that energy. To see what happened to that wife. She was abducted by this man who definitely liked her. He definitely liked her, but she didn't like him. And even going into this, she looked like this man. I'm even willing to say, I'm sorry, these cards. No. I'm even willing to say that she knows this man. This man is from her past. Because I was like, wait a minute, is there some weird shit going on here? Like this, is this? Anyway. So he returned to find his wife had vanished, no trace of her. They said Tedford was on his way home to the retirement home in Bennington from a trip to see family in St. Albans, Vermont. The scheduled trip should have been taken best part of 8 hours, but heavy snow caused a long delay. They would also pass through the Green Mountain National Forest, an area renowned for disappearances and strange events during the 1940s. And I guess that'll be another thing that we'll talk on another episode. Tedford was sitting on the bus by 14 other people. Now, of course, we're getting into the fives because I'm seeing even going into 1940s, we have 5 there. So how ironic that he's on this bus with 14 people. And anyway, They all testified to seeing him there sleeping in his seat. When the bus reached his destination, however, Tedford was gone, and the driver and other witnesses all testified that they had not seen the old man leave the bus. Tedford was getting on the bus in St. Albans by multiple witnesses and was seen still on the bus at the last stop before arriving in Bennington. Somewhere between the last stop of Bennington and Tedford Village. Now, this is real creepy because I'm sensing that there's no mysterious thing like this man just got up and vanished and nobody saw him. Like somehow, some way, there was some type of experiment done, and this man did get off the bus and people were not paying attention because there's more to the story that no one's talking about. And we're going to get into this. James Tedford disappearing. Okay. Air sign woman. Yeah, see, there's just a lot of lies here. Let's just some very dark stuff here. Gossip, going into things changing for the worse, air sign woman. So, yeah, his belongings were left on that bus, but he got off that bus. There's no disrespect to that. He got off that bus. And I'm seeing something with two stops here. And so, like I said, I wish they would go more into the story of the bus stop and stuff. Like, how many stops were there between him getting on the bus and him actually arriving to destination allegedly? Like, there's some with two stops here. There's some with this air sign woman. And I know this is the woman that testified, but there's definitely a very, very close encounter with her. Strangely, all his belongings are still on a luggage rack and local bus timetable layout open on his empty seat. Girl. And of course, they're going and saying, Bennington Triangle, courting, these are kickers to the bridge, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and it goes into the list of the missing people who all were missing there. To be honest with y'all, and then we can even go into the background of this too. Middle Rivers of 1945, the first occurred on November the 12th. 74-year-old Middle Rivers disappeared while out hunting. Rivers was guiding four hunters up the mountains. On the way back, Rivers got ahead of the group and was never seen again. An extensive search was conducted, but the only evidence discovered was a single rifle cartridge. Going into Paula Weldon, 18, she disappeared about a year later on December the 1st. All this happened around the winter time, too, which is so crazy. One of the sophomores at Bennington College should have set out for a hike a long trail. Many saw her go, including Ernest Whitman, a Bennington Banner employee who gave her directions. She was alleged to have been seen on the trail itself by an elderly person who were about 100 yards behind her. According to them, she turned a corner trail, and when they reached the same corner, she had disappeared. Yeah, this is people being abducted. And the crazy thing about it is, initially when I first read this, I was thinking that maybe he disappeared the same way his wife disappeared, and no, but this is still creepy because of abduction, James. This is still creepy because of abduction. But going into the Paula vanishing, went around the corner, was told that she disappeared. Yeah, this is linked to some type of underground type of scenario. And the first thing that popped in my mind as well is grassy area blending in, going down, and literally they're going into an underground tunnel. And the crazy thing about it too, I'm seeing like a flash of like the movie Timeline or Time Machine when these people jumped up out of the dirt and they literally would take the people back into their underground hive. And that's what I'm saying with this. This is somehow connected to underground tunnels and stuff. Like, I'm not trying to get into conspiracy stuff, but that's what I'm saying. Like, someone coming from beneath and pulling them down underground. Like, it'd be interesting to know how many underground, alleged underground towns are in this Bennington area. Going into Paul Justin, the fourth person to vanish. He was 8 years old. Jeffens was accompanied by his mother in a truck. His mother was gone for an hour. When she returned, her child was nowhere in sight. Search parties were formed to look for the child. Nothing was ever found. According to one story, bloodhounds tracked the boy to a local highway where, according to local legend, 4 years earlier, Paula had disappeared. I'm telling you right now, this is connected to an underground connection. This is an underground, some type of underground network. And there's definitely games being had here. And this is a group of people. Like, I'm really seeing, like, ooh, y'all, like 8 or 9 people. And the weirdest thing about it is these are, like, worker people. Like, there's someone behind all this, and they're hiring people to oh, my God, this is, like, creepy, y'all. Like, they're hiring people, and some even comes up right now, too, in the same area. Like, I'm curious to know what is going on in this area right now, because I'm seeing something linked to, like, homeless people, homelessness looking people, kind of doing the same thing, like abducting people and taking them, like I said, back to underground cities and stuff. And it's so crazy. Underground experiment things. Like, this is what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing anything like freaky like these people are stuck in a time zone and stuff. These people are physically being taken somewhere underground. The fifth and last experience occurred 16 days after Jeff had vanished on October 28, 1950. Frida Langer, 53, and her cousin, Herbert Elsner, left their family campsite near the Somerset Reservoir to go on a hike. During the hike, Langer slipped and fell into a stream. She told Elsner if he would wait, she would go back to the campsite, change clothes, and catch up to him. When she did not return, Elsner made his way back to the campsite and discovered Langer had not returned, and nobody has seen her since. Over the next 2 weeks, five searches were conducted involving aircraft, helicopter, and up to 300 researchers. No trace of Langer was found during the search. On May 12, 1921, her body was found near the Somerset Resort in the area that had been essentially searched 7 months previously. I'm telling you right now, and this is probably the only one that they found her bodies and remains and all that good stuff. Yeah, this is a network of people, like you said, like people that are like hiding in plain sight, and it's really creepy. Going into James, this is another victim that was abducted and not found. Like I said, this is not no time warp type of thing. This is actually a group of people that I still think are active today, not the same people, but some type of underground group, because we still got people missing in America, and it is linked to this, and it's creepy as hell, because I'm literally seeing people, like I said, blending in. I don't know if that's camouflage or if it's just dirty looking people, but blending in and take people back to their spot. Going into Frida, there's something that comes up with her of some type of deformity, something that they really were not a fan of, and that's why, once again, her body was taken back. Nobody else's body was taken back. Everybody got kept. But it's just some real creepy stuff. Is there any unknown energy outside of what I mentioned about any of these missing people, but most importantly, James Tedford? Okay, yeah, no really unknown energy here, outside of the energies that I saw. I do feel like I said, him missing and other people missing are definitely abductions. They're not people vanishing in thin air. I definitely there are actual abductions happening, and if anybody is over in that area, if you're over there in the Bennington circle or Bennington triangle area, you do research on that. Be very careful, because like I said, I'll be interested to even know what other cases are going on even right now to this day. Did all the cases stop, or is there still people going missing and stuff out there? Because I'm seeing a lot of underground stuff connected to a lot of stuff, and like I said, it's really creepy to see this, because even going into this, I have to describe to y'all so you can kind of see this. So imagine you walking down the street, and it's a bushy street, right? Bushes everywhere. And you thought you saw someone standing there, but you didn't. You did, but you thought you saw someone there. You actually did see someone there, but in your own vision, you're like, okay, there's no one there. And then mysteriously, you go, and then bam, you get pulled into the bush. You're instantly, shut up. Your hands is put over your mouth, and you're knocked out. So you're not going to remember or see anything. And that's what I'm seeing with this child. And even to this day, like I said, there's still some underground stuff that has taken place, and it's very, very creepy. Like, oh my God. Ooh, very, very creepy, honey. Very creepy. And you see, everybody here was either young or they were really of age because they cannot fight back. Okay? So they were of age. Even going into the middle rivers, it's like, yeah, it just was so crazy. He got ahead of the group. It was never seen again. But it's like nobody, like, I would think people that are hunters will know how to track people's tracks. So it's just very, very weird and fishy with all this. I do feel like this is definitely connected to higher up people. I'm not going to get into what it is, how it is, but I just feel like this connects to higher up people. And once again, this is nothing like secretive. Going into James Tedford, literally, he was walked off that bus, okay? Yeah, it wasn't he disappeared. He got off the bus, and the other passengers who said, we don't remember seeing anything, of course you don't remember, but he got off that bus, and that's what I'm going to keep up. I'm going to keep it with that, okay? Anyway, y'all, that's it for this episode, and of course, we will see each other again another time. As I said before, comment below. Give me your opinions on this, and like I said, I'm going to pick something probably every week, every month, where we do like a recap and to kind of go over the case, facts with you guys again, but live, okay? Anyway, y'all, thanks for watching, and I mentioned until next